Hi everybody, this is Damien again, and welcome back to our second masterclass and part of the masterclass series in the lead up to the official kickoff of the 52 Experiences Challenge, which gets underway on the 10th of February with our kickoff event on the Sunday the 9th. So, yesterday we talked about the incredible opportunity waiting for you with the 52 Experiences Challenge. It's not just about doing things, ticking off a list of things to do. Yes, that bucket list. I need to tick off all those things on my bucket list, but it's about a chance to truly engage in life and break free from the ordinary to create a life that is extraordinary. So, to create a life filled with meaningful memories and connection, especially deepen our connection with our loved ones, our kids, and our partner if we have one. Today, I want to show you how the 52 Experiences Challenge is also more than just having a bunch of fun. It's more than taking our lives from ordinary to extraordinary, but it's also an opportunity to really transform our life. I really believe the 52 Experiences Challenge is a transformative experience. So I want you to imagine for a moment what your life will be like in 52 weeks from now. So 52 weeks from now, you're going to be reflecting back on all the experiences you've just had, the memories, the fun, the great times you've had with your partner, the great times you've had with your kids, the friends, the new friends you've met, the sense of accomplishment you've actually achieved. So I want you to reflect on what that will feel like. So it'll be more than just fun, it would just be more than memories. You, throughout this journey, would have changed as a person because most of us have been working on autopilot. Most of us have been living pretty ordinary lives. We've really been in survival mode as opposed to thriving mode. We've just been muddling through life. Now we're fully engaged in life. Each week, we're going to fully engage and we're going to have some form of experience, some variety, novelty in our lives, and it's going to give us a sense of accomplishment. It's also going to be creating lasting memories. So this challenge is truly a vehicle for change. It's going to change you along the way. In small steps, one small experience at a time, you're going to be starting the process of fully experiencing life. So, you know, I think it's worthwhile to share with you how it's actually been beneficial for myself. So a number of years ago, not too long ago, I guess 7, 8 years ago, I was going through a particularly tough period of time. But before I talk about that, I want to kind of like indicate that experiences are not new to me. They've always been part of my life, growing up through life, in moments of loneliness, and moments where I'm feeling flat or down. I'd always do some form of activity which was going outdoors. For me, a lot of the time was going for long bike rides, or I'd be going for hikes somewhere in nature. So whenever I was lonely, whenever I was feeling down, I'd get out, and then this would always make me feel better. So you can imagine my life. So for a better part of 20 years, I've been involved in a number of different enterprises, but the mainstay has been international business, which meant I traveled extensively. So many of the 22 countries I traveled to were actually for business, even though I put in experiences on those trips. So every year I'd spend 3 to 4 months in hotel rooms in different parts of the world. So not really knowing anyone except for my suppliers and my customers. So there are lots of times where I felt quite lonely. Also, when I'd go back to home base, whilst everyone else was having a normal life, most of the time I'd spend away. So it always felt I was a little bit disconnected from everyone else. So in those moments, having experiences was something that helped me kind of like feel grounded, feel like my life had some kind of meaning. It just brought me back to a sense of center. So now back to 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, I was going through a particularly tough patch in my life. So I had a business that was really bleeding money. I'd lost about $750,000 and it didn't seem it was going to end there. So I was in a lot of cost cutting exercises, laying off people, and then just looking to see how I could actually salvage this particular business. So life was pretty challenging. So as you can imagine, I was stressed. So not a little bit stressed, I was very stressed. So I kept my physical exercise routine. I train every day. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old. I get up around about 4:30 in the morning. I train for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I thought I was bulletproof. I ate good food. I didn't drink. I didn't do anything bad. So I thought I was invincible. I was just dealing with a lot of stress, not sleeping very well. So I was in a heated discussion with an employee. And so during this conversation, I felt the left side of my face begin to get very, very numb. And then I started slurring my words. And then I kind of like started wondering what was going on. And then next thing, I collapsed. So when I woke up, so everyone, I was like laid out, and then there was a doctor kind of like evaluating me, and then I went for a bunch of tests, CT scans and all the rest. And then the conclusion was that I'd had what's called a TIA, transitory ischemic attack, or better known as a transitory or temporary stroke. So basically, my body determined that I was going to cause it some kind of like damage by being in such an aroused and stressed state that it shut down. So I collapsed. So with a transitory stroke, there is no ongoing symptoms or ongoing kind of like issues with you. So very fortunate. But it was a warning. So it was like, you need to do something different. So I did try to address things, but obviously I was in the midst of like basically a business imploding. At the same time, I had a relationship was imploding. So there was a whole cascade of things going not necessarily the way I wanted them to go. So I was pretty much in damage control. 3 to 4 weeks later, I wake up one Monday morning and I couldn't remember the last 3 to 4 days. So in my apartment was someone I'd had a relationship with, who I'd actually thought that I'd broken up with, but apparently we'd gotten back together because I couldn't actually remember. So for 3 or 4 days, we were a complete blank. So she took me off to a neurologist. So once again, a cascade of exams, and the conclusion: stress-induced amnesia. So my body was basically telling me that I was not taking care of myself. So something needed to change. So once again, I went into a kind of like reflective kind of like process, my physical exercise regime, my healthy eating, doing all of those kind of things were not enough. I needed to have something else. So at this time, I was sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night. So obviously sleep was an issue. But the other thing, I was working every day of the week. I wasn't actually having any space. I wasn't having any me time, no time to take care of myself. So I reflected back on my life and what did I usually do when things were particularly stressful? What did I do when I was feeling lonely? What did I do when I was feeling really down and somewhat depressed? I would have an experience. So I made a commitment to myself that once a week, at least once a week, if not more, I would have a new experience. I would set aside some time, not counting this as a training session. So I still do my training session because remember, I get up at 4 to 5. And then afterwards, I was set aside 3 to 4 hours, a minimum of 3 to 4 hours, to have a new experience, to go off and do something that I knew I enjoyed. So to discover something new, go off, have something unique, varied, something that physically challenged me in the outdoors, and got me to see new things. So remember, this was not a workout. This was not with the intention of working out. This was with the intention of me spending time doing things that I love and enjoy, which is discovering new things, which is experiencing different aspects of the place that I live. So I still had large realms of Sao Paulo where I live, which I hadn't discovered. So it was an opportunity to go off and discover them. But I like to experience things by physically challenging myself, not for the workout. I just enjoy the pleasure of actually feeling that I've utilized my whole body. I'm not one who goes to retreats. That sits there and does nothing. I don't like to go to resorts. I like to do something active and fully engaged in the environment that I am in. And so I did this, and here I'm still here to tell the tale. I haven't had any other stress-related kind of like issues, and I attribute this to the fact that I've made a commitment to have experiences at least once or twice a week. In fact, it's usually twice. And then I've now included my son in these kind of like experiences. So normally I will train early in the morning, and then I will set aside 3 to 4 hours for my son and I to do some kind of like physically challenge outdoor experience that gets us out discovering and exploring something new. So we do this twice a week on a Saturday and Sunday, and then it is not for physical. It's not a physical workout. It's not for my fitness kind of like benefit, even though it does have physical benefits, which I'll talk to you a little bit later. So, I believe I'm a kind of testament for the fact, the benefit of actually getting out there. It's kind of like pulled me back from the brink many times in my life. So very dark moments in my life. It's helped me kind of like get me back. And then it helped me when I was clearly in danger of something occurring that was going to be, an impact on my physical health, which is one of my biggest concerns in life, is not being able to do the things I love and not having the physical capacity to go off and do what I really like to do, which is to be physically active in the outdoors. So, but I'm not alone. This challenge actually started in 2020 or 2021. I'm not sure on that date, but since that time, we've had about 3,000 people register. In 2023, we had a bit of a hiatus because I focused more on wellness. But during this time, there were lots and lots of people who've gone through the actual challenge. So there were a lot of people in, especially, so yeah, actually it was 2020 when COVID arrived. So basically when people were coming out of lockdown, then I decided to share the 52 Experiences Challenge because this is what I was doing to help me with lockdown. Me and my son were able to get up early and go off and have experiences without any kind of like issues. And so I decided to share the benefit of having these 52 experiences with others. And as people came out of lockdown, a lot of people gravitated to the challenge and use it as an opportunity to get them back out experiencing life. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share some of the people who've actually been through the challenge and their experience. So here is some of the people, and you can also see what they have to say about the challenge. So firstly, we have Amy Wilson. So Amy is one of the first people who adopted the challenge. So you can see here, the challenge was a way to get her out of her comfort zone. She felt it was a life-changing experience. And then she highly recommends it to others who want to get out of the everyday and the ordinary, embrace new adventures whilst finding others to share their passion for the life outdoors. So Amy, before this, hadn't really been very adventurous, and the challenge was kind of like a Kickstarter for her to get outdoors. And then now she actually leads other people having these kind of experiences. She was actually taking kids out having these kind of experiences. So this has opened up new avenues for her. So now we've got Becky Stout. She also was one of the very first to take on the challenge. So it really gave us something to focus on. So this is one of the other benefits of the challenge. It gives you an ability to start exercising the fact that we are goal seekers. We actually enjoy setting goals and achieving them. So the challenge became a way for her to set some positive goals for her. And then even since the challenge is finished, she's continued having regular experiences. And you can see some of the experiences Becky's had. So then we have Brenda and Jeff Mikanowitz. I probably pronounced that badly. So they saw the challenge as a way to really live life to the fullest. So it was all about for them not waiting for tomorrow to experience life, because life is not promised, and life is really short. So they made a decision to go off and truly experience life. And you can see some of the outdoor experiences they had. So they're another group of people who actually completed all 52 experiences. So a lot of people take on the challenge but don't finish because they forget to make the commitment. And then I'm going to be working with you to make sure you make this commitment, because it is a commitment to yourself. So here we have Rosie Garza. So Rosie is someone who likes to be on vacation. She likes to live a life to the fullest. And then the challenge gave her an opportunity to feel that she was on a vacation every day. So I think she was mainly talking about her weekends. So she used it as an opportunity to discover new places, re-explore parts of her city, and then also to reconnect with friends of hers. Then it wasn't all about just outdoors activities, but there was also some cultural elements there. Because remember, this is your challenge. This doesn't have to be about physically challenging yourself. Like I personally like physically challenging myself, but when I go to different places which do have some cultural elements, I do enjoy experiencing and exploring and learning about things from the past, or some other thing. So it's for you to create the experience, whatever the experience is, whatever kind of like lights you up. That's what this challenge is all about. Then here are some other images of experiences from some of our other challenge finishers. So we have the Tilly. She's really into rock climbing. So she's in her 50s and she likes to do extreme rock climbing. Then we have Gina Kanza, who went off and did a bunch of wonderful experiences, a lot of travel experiences. There's also Chrissy Elliott, who also is big on living life to the fullest. And then we have Cara Hoynes, who also went off and had a bunch of wonderful experiences. And then here are some of our other challenges. So we have Chaley, Jade, Tatiana, and Catherine. So all people out there having new experiences, pushing their limits. You can see people doing rope climbing, bouldering, hiking, paddling, stand up. Tatiana went off to Iceland and had a bunch of different experiences. Chaley did a lot of local exploration and local trails. So this is available to you. So every one of us can live our best lives by having one experience at a time. So it only takes one experience for us to be living our best life. So as you can see, there were some pretty amazing experiences there. Most of these experiences actually didn't cost the people who took the experience challenge any money. These were things they did close to home. They did hiking trails, stand-up paddling, or kayaking or other things which were relatively close to them. So they didn't require a large investment of money, a large investment of time. The investment of time is pretty much up to you. So now I want to talk. So now I want to talk about the physical and mental health benefits of the challenge. So clearly, the challenge can be transformative from how we see life, and it can kind of take us off autopilot and get us to kind of like make our lives a little bit more extraordinary, a lot more varied, and a lot more filled with novelty. But there are actually some clear physical and mental health benefits. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I put on a bunch of summits. I'm a big proponent and supporter of wellness and being intentionally and mindfully focused on your wellness. But I do have one issue with where wellness is going. Wellness at the moment is all about different silos. It's all about focusing, disintegrating elements of wellness and focusing on these different parts. So you got to focus on going to the gym, just on strength training. Then you got to focus on your cardio. Then you got to focus on your mindfulness. Then you got to focus on your meditation. Then you got to focus on your breath work. Then you got to focus on nervous system regulation. Then you got to focus on your resilience training. Then you got to focus on your self-image training, blah, 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 blah. So the list goes on. So there's this long list of different things. And I'm going to tell you, I don't believe this is serving people at all. I think wellness is going in the wrong direction. What's happened is a bunch of entrepreneurial marketeers have got involved in wellness and kind of like determined that there are all these specific different elements of wellness that have a particular benefit. So let's segment them out and create a program, create a product, or create some kind of service around that, and we can monetize this. Because all these people out there are looking for answers. All these people are searching for that magic pill, that magic exercise, that magic food, that magic service, that magic course, that magic training, that one thing that will completely fix all of their wellness concerns. And I'm going to tell you, well, that actually is not going to help you. So basically you're going to be doing yourself a disservice. We're a holistic being where we are completely integrated. All our systems work to support and are connected and support each other. We can't segment different things and then expect that this is going to benefit the whole. What we need to do is treat the whole and then work out how we can do things that are integrative to treat the whole. The other thing is it makes wellness overly complicated. If I have to do mindfulness training, I have to do meditation, I have to do breath work, I have to do nervous system regulation, I have to do tapping, I have to do blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. Well, I'm just going to be overwhelmed. And I'm going to tell you there is one solution to all of this, and that is to become conscious, intentional, and mindful in whatever you do. Whatever you choose is the path to wellness, is to be conscious, mindful, and intentional in what you do and fully engaged in whatever your activity is, and then treat it as a holistic thing as opposed to a separated thing. And the benefit of experiences is that it is pretty much the most comprehensive way of approaching wellness that I have found. So for me, it offers physical benefits because you're going to get out there, you're going to be doing something physically active, like you're going to be hiking, you're going to be biking, you're going to be paddling, stand-up paddling, you're going to be swimming, you're going to be doing something that involves moving your body, and it's fun. It isn't a chore because you're out there having an experience. So you're going to be physically challenging yourself. Plus, being out in nature, being out in the outdoors, it has been scientifically proven to be what our bodies crave. So we're from nature, so our body craves to be back in nature. So we need to get exposure to vitamin D. We need to have sunlight. We need to be exposed to fresh air. Our bodies and our lungs enjoy having fresh air. We also, from a stress release benefit, being out in nature, the polyphenols, etc., in the air around trees helps calm us, helps relax us, helps actually make us feel less stressed. Also, if you've listened to Dr. Patrick Porter, the planet actually resonates. So when you go up into mountains, it has a frequency of 10 hertz. If you go to the ocean, it also has a frequency. And this frequency is calming on the body. It brings us back to a state of centeredness. It helps us get out of reactive mode. So being out in nature has a calming effect upon us. And so we're not actually needing to go, I am needing to meditate, I need to do this calming activity. I'm just going off and having some fun. So also mentioned yesterday that there is something called psychological richness. So traditionally in the land of psychology, to be able to live our best life, it was all about having a sense of meaning, that our lives were meaningful and that we were generally happy with life. But actually now it's been discovered that we also need to have experiences because we are experiential beings. Our way of learning throughout history has been trial and error. So we have an experience, we learn from an experience, and then we move on from that. And then we keep on adopting this learning behavior, and eventually this becomes an automated pattern. It gets stored in our memory, and then it's how we move forward. But we learn from experiences. So we're programmed to enjoy having experiences. When we do the same old, same old, same old all over all the time, our brains get bored. And when we're bored, they crave stimulation. So what we've done so well in the modern world is find ways to provide that stimulation, but it's not really what our brains are looking for. They're looking for the stimulation from new experiences. They're looking for the stimulation from us trying something new, learning something new, and growing from that, not from binge watching Netflix, not from eating that chocolate ice cream, not from drinking copious amounts of alcohol, not from playing games on computers, not from scrolling social media, but from actually us having real experiences, us going off and trying something a little bit different and learning from that experience. So we're built to experience life. So continuing, so from a positive psychology perspective, for us to really thrive, we need to have positivity. And guess what? Having experiences gives us an opportunity to savor and appreciate life. So it's positivity and gratitude in action. So when we go off, like, no experience is a bad experience. It's just an opportunity to experience the world. So I'll give you an example. So one of the things you should definitely do when having this experience challenge is not have any expectations, because if you have expectations, you may set yourself up for not really getting the real benefit out of an experience. So one weekend, some friends, a friend of mine and a friend of his decided that we would go to this place called Ilhabela, which is like an island place. So we're going to spend the weekend there. And we were going to do this hike to Benici Beach, which is a 5 to 6 hour kind of like hike. So round circuit, it takes about 10, 11 hours. So we went over there, we were like really challenging ourselves. We wanted to really get there and then like come back. And then a storm hit. So we arrived in Benici Beach, and then we had some lunch there because there's a little beach posada, which is kind of like a B&B in Brazil. And then we had some lunch there, and then we're going to head back. And then, the skies open up, and then torrential kind of like rain. So one of the only ways to get out of Benici Beach are by boat or through the path we're just kind of hiked. And this path is because most people actually get to Benici Beach by boat. But because there was a storm, there was no option to go out by sea because basically the launches come into the beach and then the waves were crashing on the beach. So this was definitely not an option. The other option was to spend the night at the Posada, at this B&B, but we decided that we were going to hike back, which was our original plan. So it's pouring down with rain, it's torrential, and this path is like a real hiking path. There are no lights there. It's just really difficult to see anything. Basically it's pretty challenging when it's fully sunny and nice weather, but now it's pouring down with rain. So slip and slide, and then it started getting late because it was taking us a little bit longer to get back because as I said, with a lot of slip and slide. So it took us a lot longer to get back. So it's now nighttime. So we were having to use to see the path, actually our cell phone lights, because we really couldn't see anything. So we get back and it's like 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night. We're completely drenched, completely muddy. And then if we were to look back on the experience with the wrong perspective, we would have gone, wow, that was a horrible experience. But actually, it was an incredible experience because it really connected us. And we had a big laugh along the thing. It was a big adventure, very challenging. We were exhausted when we got back, but we're also kind of like exhausted but energized because we'd actually achieved something, because the guy who ran the B&B said, you guys are crazy, you shouldn't do that, it's a big risk or whatever, but we crazy foreigners decided to do it anyway. And then when we got back, the sense of achievement was amazing. And then, to this day, we relay this story on how, this particular experience. So, the perfect experience would have been, sunny all the way through. We got there, had a nice lunch, and then we hiked back at a leisurely pace and get back, and plenty of time to do things. But this turned into a mud bath, slip and slide, really challenging. Some like moments us wondering if we had actually made the right choice and whether or not we'd end up actually get back to where our car was. But this is what experiences are. They don't have to be perfect. You just need the right kind of attitude and perspective. And then you can have this amazing kind of like experience. So now also let's talk about other things. So like from a positive psychology perspective, we need engagement. And if we are mindfully engaged in our experience, we look to intentionally and purposefully get it and utilize all of our senses when we're in experience, we're going to be fully engaged. Also, if we decide to use experience as an opportunity for our family it deepens the relationship, which is another element, part of the PERMA positive psychology model for thriving. Also, there's a requirement for another element is meaning. So when we go off in the outdoors, we deepen our sense of purpose and our connection to the world, a connection to the planet, connection to nature, and then also those around us. And then the last element of PERMA is accomplishment, sense of achievement, just very much like us arriving back after 12 hours of hiking, drenched and muddy. We felt that we'd overcome like a big hurdle, we'd achieved a grand milestone, and any big or small experience gives you that opportunity to get out of our comfort zone and to do something different. So as you can see, having experiences has an incredible opportunity from a physical and mental perspective. So, it eliminates the need to have this big checklist of things we need to do, because guess what? So our ancestors didn't do any of this, but they were mindfully engaged in their lives. So they were able to read the patterns of the world because they utilized all their senses when they were out in nature. They were very aware of what was going around, and they were able to kind of like read the situations to understand, where they needed to forage, where they needed to hunt. So we have this innate ability to do all these things that all these marketeers are now marketing to us. So now to focus on mindfulness. So you can go out in nature, utilize all your senses and be fully engaged. You're going to be practicing mindfulness. You want to build resilience. Well, get out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself to do things that are difficult, more difficult than you used to. Really push yourself, kind of like face your fears. Well, you're going to be building resilience, which will help you deal with things in other parts of your life. If you really want to appreciate life, well, go out in nature, see a sunset, see a sunrise, or go off and stand on top of a cliff, on top of a mountain, just at the beach, and then get that sense of awe and appreciation for the world we're currently part of. So, and nervous system regulation. Well, guess what? Being out in nature does that. Stress management, being out in nature does that for you. So physically challenging yourself in a natural setting, enjoying life, fully engaged in life, well, it addresses all of these things that otherwise you have to pay a course for, or the other thing, you have to buy some training in, get some guru to coach you in. Well, you can get all of this for free by getting out in nature and having real experiences. So it's not about just ticking off the boxes. So some of the people who have taken the challenge in the past have just seen it as, well, I'm just going to have to tick off a bunch of things, and they just see it as another to-do list. Well, this is not really what the opportunity is. The opportunity is to get out there, fully engage in whatever the experience is, fully engage with the people you're having an experience with, really connect with them, and then utilize all your senses, and then really appreciate what you're experiencing, and then focus on that experience. And this is what's creating that long-lasting memory, and it's giving you all of these other benefits that you will have to buy some product, some supplement, or something else to actually achieve. And then guess what? When you get home, if you had trouble sleeping, I can tell you that night after that hike, we were out. We didn't have any problems sleeping. So regardless of all the other things that were going on in our lives, because now you've physically challenged yourself, you've actually stimulated your mind and given it what it's needed. You tired yourself out there because you're challenging your mind as well, because now your mind is actively engaged in what it's doing. So this is another relevant point. Like I come from a family of people who have that gene which predisposes you to Alzheimer's. So as you get older, the possibility of getting Alzheimer's increases. But I'm going to suggest for you, because having interviewed a number of people on Alzheimer's, one of the things that prevents you getting Alzheimer's is being stimulating your mind. So when you're stimulating mind, also being physically active. So when you physically go off and you are fully aware and fully engaged, so you're not passively in an environment, you're actually actively engaged in an environment. You've got to use your whole body, all your senses to kind of like navigate what you're going through. Remember what I talked about yesterday, where I like to go on hikes. I don't bring my cell phone. I don't provide or bring along any way for me to understand my route. I rely on my natural GPS, because we all have a natural GPS. So it forces me to pay attention to where we're going and get me to get a sense of where I'm heading. So I'm fully engaging my mind and my brain. So, I would suggest that actively engaging your brain in an experience is going to have benefits from a protection against any kind of like things like dementia and Alzheimer's. So obviously there are other things we need to take care of, but this is one of the tools available to you, and it doesn't cost you any additional money. So, as you can see, I'm a firm believer in the benefits of the 52 Experiences Challenge. I believe it's truly transformational, and I believe everyone should give it a go. So yesterday, so now before I kind of finish up, yesterday I asked you to think about one experience you could plan this week to bring you joy. We're going to take this a little bit further. So I want you to start imagining what's possible for you if you have 52 experiences this year. So I want to picture the kind of experiences you want to have. I want you to picture the memories you want to create and the person you want to become at the end of it. Because, like, remember, it's a transformational journey. It's not about ticking boxes. It's about looking to change, to make yourself better, to help you realize your potential in other areas of your life, because you can transfer the things that you learn about yourself, the growth that actually occurs in the journey of like having these experiences, to all other parts of your life. You don't have to disintermediate life. Life needs to be integrated together. So I want you to think about who it is you want to be, what memories you want to have, and then ask yourself, what is one experience I can plan this week that will help kickstart this journey to making this vision of my future reality, my future experience reality come true. So you're going to imagine what life would be like, who you will be like, what kind of memories you will have in 52 weeks from when you start the challenge. And then today, your challenge is to think about one experience which will help kickstart you on this journey. And remember, you can incorporate the EPIC formula to make this a truly memorable experience. So remember also that experiences don't have to be big or complex. They can be small and simple, but what's important, they are something you intentionally and mindfully look to engage in. Because it's the small steps each week. So that's why I'm getting you to focus on only one experience a week. You can have as many experiences you want in life, or in this challenge. You can have more than one experience. So one person did send me a message and asked me, what happens if I have more experiences in a week? And they go, wow, that's incredible. Definitely do it. So add them to your list, because that's your list of accomplishment. So if I looked at the number of experiences myself and my son have over a year, we at a minimum have 52 weeks times two, because every Saturday and Sunday we go off and have experiences. So that's 104 experiences. And then we will do other things where we'll be multiple experiences a day, multiple experiences in a week when we're traveling, when we go on a road trip or something else. So it's not about how many experiences you have. It's about making sure you're setting aside time each week to have an experience. So it's not cramming in all the experiences and then go, yeah, I ticked all those boxes. I ticked all those experiences. And now back to life as it was. So back to ordinary, no experiences, back to boredom, back to an unexciting life. This challenge is meant to be a Kickstarter for you to go off and having experiences an ongoing part of living your life. It's not about ticking the boxes, but to make it simple, I'm giving you one goal. Each week, you're going to have one experience. One experience you choose, something that resonates with you, something that makes you feel alive, something that's going to get you deeply engaged, something that's going to get you mindfully involved in the experience, or or something that follows our EPIC framework. So remember, EPIC has to be out of the ordinary, extraordinary, has to be something that gives us pride, gives us a sense of achievement, has to provide us with insight, gives us an opportunity to learn about ourselves, learn about those around us, and learn about the world in general, and see it helps develop connection. It could be reconnecting with ourselves. But if we do have families, connecting with our families, our partner, our friends, and then even connecting with new people. So what I'd like to highlight for you today is also that, it obviously should be clear that I believe the 52 Experiences Challenge is meant to be transformative. It's meant to be a catalyst for increasing wellness, connection, and transformation in your life, getting you to integrate all of those things in one incredible, fun experience. And then to help make this possible, I've also put together a whole bunch of resources. So if you looked at the website, you would have seen that there are a bunch of additional resources available, which are going to be made available from Friday afternoon onwards. So I'll be sharing more about them and how you can actually access them. But these are meant to deepen the experience, to give you an opportunity to learn how to fully engage and get the most out of this opportunity that the 52 Experiences Challenge provides. But there'll be more about that. I'll talk a little bit more about that on Thursday, because on Thursday we have one more masterclass, part of this masterclass series. And then in this particular masterclass, beyond learning a little bit more about what's coming on Friday, I'll also be sharing something that I believe is absolutely crucial to your success with the challenge. It's how to take full ownership of this journey you are going to undertake. Because remember, it's the Experience Life Quest. So you are on the beginning part of this quest to make experiences part of your life. And then this beginning part of your quest is to commit to having 52 experiences over the next 52 weeks. So in Thursday's session, we'll explore how embracing the challenge with the right mindset. So remember, I've talked a little bit about mindset, about perspective, how you perceive what you are getting out of an experience, not having expectations. So having the right mindset, which will set you up for success. I'll also give you some tools to help you feel confident so you're ready to take on the 52 weeks ahead. So I believe this is going to be game-changing for you. So make sure you show up for that session. I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. And then it'll also kind of like give you a deeper perspective on how you can use this challenge to be truly transformational. So for those of you who haven't registered as yet, please take the opportunity to register. Click on the button below. For those who haven't, you're on the list. You're going to be receiving all this information going forward. And then I'll see you all on Thursday. So, but remember, you've got a mini challenge today to reflect on what you will be, or what will be your very first experience. What will be the experience you'll use to kick off this amazing journey you're going to be on for the next 52 weeks. So thank you so much. Hope you had a lot of value out of this. Please message me in Facebook with what your thoughts were. Any feedback is appreciated. Do my best here. So look forward to hearing from you and look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group. So take care and we'll see you on Thursday.